Hi, welcome back. I'm really happy you're here and that you're interested in your personal development and growth, which is really a must for growing a business. And I know that you'll be getting lots out of this. And if you're seeing me here now for the first time, then quickly to reintroduce myself. I'm Maya. I'm an expert business mindset coach, hypnotherapist, and peak performance specialist with working with women entrepreneurs. And I work with hundreds of amazing, talented, and ambitious women like you who want to create or grow their own business, but who are maybe feeling stuck, either not taking action or not getting the results they want. And I really love helping women completely change their inner conversation and create that self-belief, clarity, and focus they need. And I want to share with you some of that with you here on this training. And if you are seeing me for the first time here, then that means that you haven't watched the first video in the series, so you might want to do that first. So welcome to the second video in my 3-video series on how to fix your mindset. In this series, I'm sharing with you some powerful tools that I use with my clients because I want to help you create that confident, unstoppable, resilient entrepreneurial mindset that you need for your business. Having the right mindset has been shown to be the absolute #1 predictor of success, more than intelligence or talent. So in the first video, I showed you 7 powerful mind hacks you can use to minimize fear and disconnect from its control over you. And in this video, I want to demonstrate with you a practical and effortless exercise because I'd love for you to have a tool to break through and dissolve your limiting beliefs. And in the third video, I'll be taking you through a full hypnosis session to embody your future successful self to create confidence, self-trust, motivation, and clarity. That's going to be a fun one, so be sure to join in. And thank you again for joining me here. Like I said, your self-growth is absolutely crucial for your business growth, and that's what I'd love to help you with. You can achieve your goals and create what you want and imagine for yourself, but it really all depends on your strength of mind and your belief in yourself and what you're focused on to achieve it. So today I'd love to share with you something really special. We're not only going to talk about, but I'm actually going to take you through a simple and practical process, and you'll get the opportunity to actually let go of a limiting belief right here on this training. And you'll then be able to revisit and use this process to start changing any of your beliefs that aren't serving you. This process has the potential to dissolve a belief in minutes, and it doesn't matter how long you've had it. So becoming freer almost instantly, opening yourself up to new possibilities and opportunities. Now, first thing you need to fully understand is this. Everything is belief driven. Absolutely everything you think, feel, and do. They basically run and control you subconsciously. This also means that they're the ones running your business, not you or your conscious goals. And you have to understand this. If there's any mindset principle that you should take away from any teaching ever, it's this. And you know, I speak to so many people and lots of them kind of say, oh yeah, I know that, beliefs are in charge of stuff, but they don't fully understand how much literally everything they think, everything they feel, everything they do, every action they take, every decision they make, really almost 100% of what you do is driven by your beliefs. It's on automatic. And most of the time, they're not even aware of it. So it's super, super important that you address this and really take charge of your beliefs. So here's what happens with beliefs. First, realize that all beliefs are subjective. They're always going to be based on your very own unique personal experience, environment, and learning. Most of your beliefs you've accumulated through some kind of repetition. So stuff that you were shown or told many times, or through experiences that have had some kind of significant emotional impact on you, which kind of makes the interpretation of the experience stick, if you like. This is why to change a belief on the deepest level, you need to incorporate both these factors, repetition and emotion. But point is, they can be changed because they were never true. They were never a reality rule. They were just your particular past experience. And just as you adopted those beliefs, you can choose to adopt empowering ones instead. You're absolutely free to choose when you've got the right tools. The second thing to understand is that your mind is a filter. So it can only take in about 7 to 9 pieces of information out of millions at any given second without crashing. So it's kind of like in the same way you can't possibly access the whole internet at once. So that means that there are tons of blind spots that you're currently unaware of. You don't get to see the full picture of what you can accomplish or how. You don't get to see all the possibilities or potential that's either out there or inside you. This is because you only see what comes into your more conscious mind, which is filtered first by your unconscious processes and beliefs in order to keep you from crashing. So these decide what you perceive and focus on, or using the computer analogy again, your browser will automatically suggest what you access according to your past experience unless you intentionally clear your history. The third thing to be aware of is that your mind loves being right, because it likes to do its job keeping you safe or out of the unknown. So in the first video, we spoke about how it uses fear to do that as well. And filtering information and trying to prove to you that your beliefs are correct, even if they contradict your goals, seems easier and more comfortable because it's familiar to you. You already think it's true. Shaking up or questioning your beliefs can feel uncomfortable, even though it's actually a sign of growth. So that filter is applied to keep out any evidence that contradicts your current perceptions. It prevents you from being open to the unknown or new possibilities. It then reinforces whatever is already there. Again, even if it's working against you, your mind still thinks it's doing you a favor by keeping you in a familiar space. Then, as you're served with more experiences that fit those beliefs, the beliefs become even stronger. So if you've been feeling stuck, it's because you keep creating results to fit your limited expectations. It's a very vicious cycle, and it's one that you really have to break on a subconscious level. This is one of the key things I love working on with my clients, and I just love to see how quickly they become free of these filters and be open to new potential. What happens as a result is that both resources within themselves and external opportunities magically appear in their lives. But the truth is, it's not magic. It's just that they've removed the blocks to experiencing or even seeing these possibilities that are out there for you. If you try to get into action while these programs are running in the back or front of your mind, it'll be a struggle and one you're very unlikely to win. You experience more resistance, fear, and procrastination because your mind isn't going to support you in taking action towards something it doesn't believe in, right? So you have to believe to receive. What's even worse is that because many, if not most, of these are subconscious, you don't even know these limiting programs are there, running in the background, keeping you stuck and preventing you from achieving your goals. So you really have to clearly identify those blocks before you can really move forward. And that's why in my programs, one of the things I want to do very early on is help you clarify exactly what they are and where they're holding you back. So your beliefs can be either limiting or they can be freeing. And you can train your mind to easily choose the useful, positive ones and drop the limiting ones. You can create an empowering belief cycle instead of that vicious one. So let's quickly look at some of the most common beliefs I help my clients get rid of. First one is, of course, I'm going to fail. And this is what creates most of your fear. And the thing is that successful people don't believe in failure at all, only in learning, process, and progress. Another one is people won't like me or won't want my offer. Now, this is obviously a major block that's stopping you from showing up, from selling, and from converting leads into paying clients or customers. You have to have 100% belief in the value of your offer in order to sell it with confidence, right? I mean, if you don't believe in it, why would they? My conversion rate in my sales calls is over 70%. Why? Because I have absolute certainty. I know that my programs are super awesome and that they will get you what you want and need. I know they'll change you, your business, and your life completely. And sure, of course, I've also got the proof by now after having worked with hundreds of women, but I also had to start somewhere. So I had to work on it, but it really was my solid belief that got the clients in. I was able to communicate confidently what kind of results I'll be getting for them. When you have this kind of confidence, you sail through your sales conversations without attachment or pressure, and you know that the right people will buy, the ones who are a good fit for you. Another one is, I can't learn this, or I'm not good at this. And this can be around tech, social media, sales or marketing. And this is a huge limitation. Building a business is a learning process. You're not going to get very far if you're not open to that. Your mind is actually a learning machine, and it can absorb a lot, and actually pretty easily when you just get yourself out of the way. You can absolutely learn in your own way, and it's important that you identify what the right way for you is. But if you're human, then you're a learning and evolving being. It's just as simple as that. That's what you are and what you're here to do in business and life. So your belief around this can either allow that process to happen, or you might be blocking that from happening. Another one is there's too much competition. Now, I know this one causes a lot of frustration, and social media doesn't help when you get stuck comparing yourself to others all the time. But competition actually shows there's a big market and that there is space for you. Someone else's success is not a threat to yours. It's actually proof that it can be done, and it can be you next. Not only is there space for you, but there's even a space reserved for you to claim. It's all about confidently allowing your unique self and voice to be seen and heard. Then those who are meant to work with you will. Successful entrepreneurs don't hope to find the space, they go and make the space. Another one is, I'm too something, or I'm not enough something. Now let me give an example of how subjective and even silly this is. I've had clients who believed they weren't physically attractive enough to show up online or get attention. And then I had clients who believed they were too attractive, so people wouldn't take them seriously or would only be interested in looking but not in buying from them. I've had older clients believing they were too old to start, or that their audience would prefer someone younger. And on the other hand, I've worked with younger women who believed they were too young and that they would be perceived as inexperienced. And actually, when I first started out back in 2007, I also had that block. So I was 29 years old and looked about 20, and I thought I needed to wear certain clothes or put on more makeup to look older so that people would listen to what I had to say. But it was only when I let that belief go and developed the absolute confidence in my service selling itself, knowing that I was just good at what I do and that I was giving lots of value, that's when more and more clients started coming in, taking me seriously and trusting me from the very first second they walked into a room. So you see, you can always come up with some sort of limit you put on yourself. It's never true. It's simply lack of confidence. Truth is, confidence sells. It's your number one ticket to getting more clients. Another one is, I'll always struggle financially, or I won't be making the kind of money I want. Now, money beliefs are a whole topic on its own. We pick them up pretty early on in our experience, usually coming from our parents, family, and close environment, and then these beliefs appear to get bigger as we accumulate more limiting money experiences. And there's such a huge block to money making, and at the same time so common. I've got a whole program, the Confident Money Program, which is entirely dedicated to transforming your money mindset, really tearing out the roots of your imaginary income limits. And I love creating that empowering, think rich attitude that you need to have in order to attract more money into your life and business. Whether it's selling, charging, receiving, or investing, you need to feel like money is on your side and a positive tool that's working for you. You can only make what you allow yourself to be open to making. So if you're thinking, I'm not going to make X money in your business, then you're right, you're not. And if you think I can absolutely make the kind of money I want, then you absolutely can. You will make it happen. Lastly, this is what I like to call avoidance perfectionism. This is when you're always thinking about the next thing you need to have or do before you can go all in. So this belief might tell you that you need to take another training or get another qualification before you're capable enough, or maybe that you need to have a certain number of followers before you make an offer, or maybe you need to already be making a certain amount of money before you invest in yourself or your business. There can always be something you feel that needs to be there first, but this is just another way to avoid 100% commitment. And you'll never be ready if you continue waiting, that's the truth. Successful people are those who don't wait for that non-existent perfect day. They just jump in and they make themselves ready. And what seems imperfect, they simply improve and grow as they move forward. But really, underlying all these beliefs is this one: I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, or success is for others and not for me. And really, almost everyone has believed or experienced I'm not good enough to some degree at some point in some area of their life. So know that this is completely normal, but also something you definitely have to address. It's something I love helping my clients to completely break through in all the various shapes and forms it shows up for them in their life and business. Not getting rid of this underlying one will continue to create all sorts of other beliefs that limit you and keep you in the not good enough space. For me, coming from, let's say, a pretty tough upbringing, I can tell you that I suffered from this belief for many, many, many years. And when I started my business, it was still there and it was obviously affecting it. On some level, I really thought it would always be there with me to some degree. But now I look back and I think, wow, I hardly even remember that person with that pain and even shame that I had then. So honestly, I'm here to tell you that you can be free of this. And it doesn't have to take you 1,000 years like it took me. I wish I had the tools I have now. It would have saved me so much time and pain. Seriously. So I want you to know that no matter how long you've been carrying a belief around, you can simply drop it when you know how. And I know some of you are now behind your screen saying to yourself, oh my God, Maya, I relate to a number of those beliefs you just went through, but what can I do? How do I get rid of them? So before we get to the belief dissolving process, I want to share with you a few tips. First, decide to be more aware. So when you notice a limitation is in your way, or you give yourself some kind of negative statement, challenge it by asking, is it a fact or just a story that you've been repeating or that's been repeated to you? Is it a reality rule? Does it apply to everyone on the planet? Or is it just your subjective experience so far? Another fun question that I personally used to ask myself is, if you were to lose your memory, would it still be true and would it still be in your way? Now, I'm not saying that you're going to have to lose your memory to be free, but you absolutely can let go of identifying with your memories, and you can 100% break the pattern of past experiences determining your future ones. So number 2 is allow yourself to be open to new possibilities. Once you recognize that some block is in fact a belief rather than a reality rule, allow yourself to realize that it's you who has adopted it and then held onto it and then made it bigger or stronger. And that's why you can drop them and let them go, just like that, with the right tools. I like to compare this to blowing soap bubbles. So you might blow a small bubble or it might be a huge one. But it doesn't matter how tiny or how huge it appears to be, it'll still take that same one little pop and all of a sudden it's gone. You realize there was never any real substance to it. So as best you can, allow yourself to be open to the fact that you can choose what to believe in. Both negative and positive beliefs are not truths. So why not choose to believe in stuff that serves you better, empowers you, makes you feel freer and happier rather than not, right? So next thing is repetition. Now this may sound simplistic, but it really works. This is how most messages around us get programmed into us as beliefs in the first place. This happened mostly in your early years because as a child you didn't have any critical capacity. So you absorbed as true whatever you saw or got repetitively from parents or other people around you. Another example that's a major one for us women in particular is the repeating messages from the media and the world around us telling us that we need to look a certain way. It tells us what is considered beautiful or attractive, what success is, or how we should live our lives, right? I know you know what I'm talking about. So even though we intellectually know it's all BS, it's repeated every day and everywhere, so it tends to somehow get in there and affect us. So a way to use repetition is to use affirmations and visualizations, which some of you might already be doing. But they need to be done the right way. I see people all the time using this in a way that not only doesn't get them results, but actually even makes them more stuck. So that's also something I love teaching in depth and showing you exactly how to do correctly in my programs. And change by simple repetition also takes time. On average, it takes about 90 days to transfer habits or beliefs to your subconscious and into automatic. This is when using simple repetition without combining with any other techniques. So it's super simple and it does work, but it has to be done correctly and regularly. This is the key. And this brings me to my last point, and which makes repetition far more quick, powerful, and effective. And this is communicate directly with your subconscious mind. When your conscious mind is relaxed enough, when the critical part of it is out of the way, similarly to when you had a completely open mind as a child, that's when you're most receptive to learning new things or installing new beliefs and programs. One of the tools I use with my clients is, of course, hypnosis that completely allows your blocking conscious mind or any resistance to step aside, making any affirmations or visualizations have so much more power and impact. It works so much faster than just simple repetition because it directly accesses the deeper levels of your mind. And you'll get a taste of that in my next video. Another tool I use is something I'm going to demonstrate with you in just a minute. This process is using the very powerful Sedona method, and this also bypasses the conscious mind by going straight to your core, to your center, to your feelings and emotions, which, as I've already mentioned, are key in creating and maintaining thinking patterns. So before we get to it, first take a moment and ask yourself, how are you limiting yourself now? What filter have you got on right now? And what stories are you telling yourself about what you can or can't do, what you can or can't achieve? Now, I'm going to take you through the Sedona method process to begin breaking through your beliefs. So what we're going to do is this. First, I want you to state to yourself a belief out loud that you can identify that's been limiting you. And it's important to state it out loud because then you really get a clear feeling of how true, strong, or kind of solid it sounds. And then when we check it again in a few minutes, you'll be able to easily identify any shift. And as you focus on this limiting belief you want to work on, I'm going to take you through a process of questions, and all you need to do is simply answer yes or no, unless I ask you to choose one of few options. Now, although I invite you to say yes if you can, I really want to be super clear that there is no right or wrong answer. And if it feels like a no, then please go with no. Okay, what's most important is that you just answer honestly. Also, try as best you can to focus on the spontaneous feelings coming up as I ask you the questions, rather than any stories behind it. When we're done, I'm going to ask you to state the belief out loud again, and then you might notice a shift in how it feels or sounds. The aim is, of course, for the belief to feel less attached or less strong or true in some kind of way. And often there's already some kind of instant shift after the very first round. This can be big or small, but any shift is a shift. It's also okay if you don't feel any shift after the first round. It will begin to lose hold once you repeat the process. Now, I encourage and invite you to simply be open to it and see what happens. And you can do this with eyes open or closed, whatever works best for you. So let's go. First, I want you to state the belief to yourself and just check to see how it feels or sounds to you now, so that you can check it again in a few minutes. So now, just with yes and no as best you can you simply allow this belief to be there? And can you welcome any pictures, sounds, or sensations that come up with that belief? Can you welcome also any labels, judgments, conclusions, or reactions that come up with it? And remember, it's also completely okay to say no if that's what it feels like. Can you also welcome any wanting to change any of it, including anything that already was in the past in relation to it? And just for this moment only, and only as best you can, could you let go of wanting to change it? Could you also welcome any wanting to figure out anything around this belief, including how or when you will be free of it? And just for this moment only, could you let go of wanting to figure it out? And in this moment, does this belief feel like it's coming from wanting control, security, or approval? So I'd like you to choose the one you're most aware of in this moment, or the one that feels the strongest in this moment. So again, does this belief feel like it's coming from wanting control, security, or approval? And whichever one you're aware of the most right now, could you simply welcome that wanting? And just for this moment only, could you let go of that wanting? And the reason why you'd let go of the wanting is because the more you want, the more you feel you don't have. So just for this moment, could you let go of that wanting? Would you let go of that wanting if you could? And if you could do that, when? When would you let it go? So this is an invitation for you to say now, but if it's not now, you can simply say not now or tomorrow, next year, whenever. When would you let it go if you could? And now, does this belief also feel like wanting oneness, whatever that means to you, peace, or freedom? So again, does it feel like wanting oneness, peace, or freedom? And whichever one feels strongest in this moment, could you welcome that wanting? And just as best you can, just for now, could you let that wanting go? Would you let it go if you could? And when would you do it if you could? And now, could you let go of wanting to recreate this belief or make it true again? And could you let go of wanting to believe it again? And could you allow yourself to be open just to the possibility that it's now being released? And could you allow yourself to be open just to the possibility that everything is unfolding just as it should? And now, could you allow yourself to go into memory and remember when you used to believe that? And did it feel like wanting control, security, or approval? So just for now, could you welcome that wanting? And just as best you can in this moment, could you let that wanting go? Would you let it go if you could? When, if you could. And now what I'd like you to do is check to see if you could allow yourself to hold on to this belief just as much as you already are in this moment. And could you allow yourself to hold on to it even more? And even more? And even some more? And more still? And a little bit more? And even more? And just slightly more? And now in this moment, would you rather hold on to it even more, or would you rather be free? And if you'd rather hold on to it, then that's okay. Just repeat the questions for holding on a few more times until that changes. But if you'd rather be free, then just for this moment only, and only as best you can, could you simply let it go? Would you let it go if you could? When, if you could? And could you let go of any wanting to recreate that belief or make it true again? And could you let go of wanting to believe it again? Would you let all that go if you could? When would you do it if you could? And could you allow yourself to be open just to the possibility that it's now been released? And could you allow yourself to be open just to the possibility that everything is unfolding as it should? So now, what I'd like you to do is to state the belief again to yourself and check to see if there's any shift in how it sounds or feels. So again, it might be a very clear shift, or it could be subtle, and these are both fine. But either way, you really want to identify the shift, and then what you want to do right now, or when you finish watching this video, is rewind and go through the process again. Repeat it and repeat again till you feel it's cleared, or that you no longer feel identified with the belief. So it'll gradually begin to sound kind of further away from you, or maybe that the words hold less meaning, less solid. Maybe they begin to sound silly or even utterly ridiculous. Sometimes you might even forget what it was you were working on, and that's great. Often this only takes 2 or 3 rounds. Sometimes it takes more, and that's also okay. Some of these shifts will be super clear for you to recognize, and some other shifts, like I said, might be more subtle, processing on a more subconscious level you might not be aware of in the moment. Now, really kind of just throwing you into the deep end here with this method without giving you any introduction or going through the basics of the method. You happen to be more analytical minded and you want to figure out how this works, or if it is working at all, then I want you to know that it absolutely does work. I'm not going to go into explanations of how how it works in this video, but for now I just invite you to simply be open to the process as best you can. And in fact, it's also very common that people who are strongly analytical find this super effective once they allow themselves to go with it, because their mind absolutely loves the process it initiates. Now, if you find that you feel free of the belief in a moment, but then it comes up again at another time, simply go through the process again. It doesn't mean that it's not worked, it has worked. But what it does mean is that you've released some layers of it, and that there are some more underlying layers that are coming up, ready to be released too. And I promise you that if you release as it comes, you'll very soon, and much sooner than later, find yourself free of all the layers. And the more you release, the quicker it gets. So remember, you've got to believe to receive. You can 100% let go of limiting beliefs, and it doesn't matter how long you've been holding on to some of these or how big or ingrained they appear to be. And I really want you to understand that you can program yourself to adopt new, freeing and empowering ones that will not only allow you to, but will actually push you to achieve what you want. And I know that you can do this, because not only have I done it myself, I've also seen it happen with my clients thousands of times. So I know you can do it, and I would love for you to know that too. But to make that happen, you need to commit to identifying and facing your blocks. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, thinking about reaching the end of the line, end of my time, knowing that I've never fully gone after my dreams was really scary. It was actually far scarier than going after my dreams. So ask yourself, what would you rather do? And ask yourself, which beliefs would you rather have subconsciously running you? Limiting, blocking ones that tell you that you can't, or freeing ones that allow you to achieve? And if you're interested in getting support doing exactly that in the fastest and most effective way, and you're just super ready to move on from old stories, then I invite you to check out my programs. In these, we'll get rid of your fear and your invisible limitations or running programming that's been controlling you or stopping you from having the freedom and success you want. Here's what one of my clients had to say. After sessions, I felt so much calmer, grounded, with clear mind, increased focus, and full of energy. The best bit was when I repeated the self-limiting statements and there was no more emotional connection to them. Noticing the changes in my daily behavior, thoughts and actions, seeing even my body language has changed, incredible. So if you'd also like to completely transform your inner conversation, stories, potential, and results in your life and business, I'd love to help you. So let's get on a free call. On this completely free power session call, we'll get you clear on your vision and on the exact subconscious blocks in your way. There's zero obligation on this call, and either way, I promise I'll leave you feeling motivated and refocused. If you resonate with all this and you're genuinely tired of being stuck, go ahead and check out my programs, and you can book a free call by clicking that purple button. I also invite you to connect with me on Instagram, where I share lots of mindset tips at Miyazaki Mindset. And of course, you can also get in touch with me there if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you actually implement this stuff. As always, it comes down to your commitment and to taking the needed action. So I believe in you, and I really want you to believe in yourself too. So do repeat this process. It's experiential, not for understanding, but for doing. But it's easy and it works. If you need any help with it, or if you've got any questions, then please reach out. I'm here for you, and I'm always happy to help. So I hope you enjoyed the session, and I invite you to keep your eyes open for the next one, the last video in this series, where I'll be taking you through a really fun and relaxing hypnotic visualization exercise that will help you to connect with and embody your future successful self. And through that, you'll receive guidance and resources from her that will empower and motivate you, and this will also speed up the process of you becoming her. So see you there.